Hello, me again, Lisa Jean Cox, Texas Best Food Services Training, to continue with the Food Manager Training course. Lesson 4 covers the fascinating topics of grease trap management, responsibility, and critter control. Grease trap management and responsibility. What is a grease trap? A grease trap is a device that prevents oil, grease, and undesirable matter from being discharged into the city sanitary sewer system. Automatic dishwashers, 2 or 3 compartment sinks, mop sinks, and floor drains are the plumbing fixtures that flow into a grease trap. A grease trap may also be referred to as an interceptor. What is a sample well? A sample well is located downstream from a grease trap and provides city inspectors access to sample the outflow of the grease trap, see how well it's doing its job. What is a generator? Any person whose activities or process generate city-related waste within the city or who stores city-regulated waste within the city. All restaurant owners are generators. What is a transporter? A transporter is a company that is responsible for cleaning, transposing, and disposing of any city-regulated waste. A transporter must have a current and valid permit and vehicle registration before the grease trap is cleaned. Those are those trucks with the big round tanks that drive up behind restaurants and create this horrible smell. What is a generator registration certificate? A certificate issued to a food service establishment. You have to have one of these if you have a restaurant. It may also be referred to as a fats, oil, and grease or FOG certificate. What is a generator number? Well, kind of obvious, but it's a little bit more involved. It's a unique identification number on a certificate that refers to the TCEQ number. You'll be given a TCEQ number, which is the Texas Commission for Environmental Quality. What is a manifest? A manifest is a form approved by the health officer to document the collection, transportation, and disposal of city-regulated waste. When the grease trap guy shows up to remove the waste, you'll find out what a manifest is. It's what both of you have to fill out. Who needs a grease trap? And all establishments that prepare and serve food to the public, regardless of size, are required to have a grease trap and sample well. Having said that, I ran a food cart for several years, and of course we don't have that. I guess it means all permanent establishments, not temporary. This is dependent on the size of the business, type of food served, whether it's really greasy or not. If it's a salad place, well, this is dependent on size of business, type of food. Grease traps are usually located outside the building near the kitchen area. Some smaller traps may be located inside the kitchen. Those traps inside the kitchen must be fitted with gaskets to prevent leakage of sewer gas. Oh. Registration requirement. All grease traps located, well, this says City of Houston, but any city, must be registered annually with the City Health Department, City Health and Human Services. It is unlawful for any person to operate a food service establishment to act as a generator at any site for which a current, valid generator registration certificate has not been issued. You gotta have one before you can sell that first hot dog, people. All applicable food service establishments are responsible for obtaining annual certificates for their grease trap or trap. Grease trap maintenance methods. Only 2 methods are currently approved for maintenance of a grease trap. Physical removal of it and on-site biological pretreatment, which it takes a company to do this. You can't do it. Well, if you had a degree in chemistry, you might could, but other than that. Here's kind of a diagram of what we've been talking about. On the left, we see 3 compartment sink, dishwasher, floor drains, that flow into clean out. So if it gets clogged up, the plumber can unplug it, clog it, and then it flows into the grease trap. After the grease trap is the location of the sample well. And it then continues on, and it's joined by the toilet waste into the city sanitary sewer system. Generator's responsibilities. All grease traps must be maintained to prevent excessive oil, grease, and other contaminants from flowing into the sanitary sewer system. The limit set by the City Council for free-floating or emulsified grease, oil, or fats is 400 parts per million, typically. I'm sure each city can do their own thing here. It is the responsibility of the generator to devise a maintenance schedule that consists of cleaning the grease tap at least once every 90 days. Sometimes you can get a waiver for 180 days if you don't process a lot of fats in your kitchen, which means twice a year. In addition, the generator must not have had any major violations or citations issued within a year. Failure to comply will result in a citation being issued. Pouring cooking oils or grease down the drain sticks to the insides of the pipes and can cause sewage backup, overflows, and costly repairs. That's why you don't want to put grease or oil down your sink, people. Sewage overflows may cause threat to public health and environment, but the City of Austin is under administrative order from the United States Environmental Protection Agency to address persistent problems with sanitary sewer overflows. Fats, cooking oil, and grease are only partially soluble in water and are not compatible with wastewater piping. If poured down the drain, these substances thicken, coagulate, and stick to the drain, forming gooey, gross deposits. The terms oil and grease are often used interchangeably, but they're very different substances. Oil, such as vegetable or olive oil, is liquid and never turns into a solid. Grease is a solid residue left over from the cooking pan after frying meats such as bacon. I've included a really neat little PDF below that you can download, which explains oils, fats, trans fats, unsaturated fats, saturated fats, lipids, exactly what's going on there in that area. When many people are finished cooking, they tend to dump leftover cooking oil, grease, or other food scraps down the sink and turn on the garbage disposal. You're just asking for trouble, people. Another common mistake is rinsing dishes in the sink with hot water to remove the grease residue left on the plates. Hot water may serve only to push the clog down a little farther, where it'll be harder for the plumber to repair and more costly for you, often meaning the eventual blockage will cost more to repair. Here's some hints, good ideas. Collect small quantities of cooking oil or grease in a coffee can. My mother always did that. Empty milk carton or similar container, preferably with a lid, so if something happens, if it gets knocked over, it doesn't go every frickin' where. Optionally can be mixed with kitty litter and double bagged. I've never tried that, but I guess that's one way to get rid of both. Toss this item in the trash can, or even better, recycle it at Austin Resource Recovery, Recycle, and Refuse Drop-Off Center. Of course, if you live in Houston, it'll probably be Houston's Resource Recovery, Recycle, and Refuse Drop-Off Center. Put greasy food scraps in the trash, not in the garbage disposal. Very greasy and oily foods cannot be composted, so if you compost, you can't use that, it won't work. Try not to put greasy food scraps in the garbage disposal. Use a paper towel to wipe grease from pots, pans, plates, and utensils. Throw it in the trash before you wash it. And use a sink strainer to catch all the food particles. The City of Austin Grease Trap 101 is in a PDF below that can be viewed or downloaded. Talks all about this grease trap stuff and what's required if you're living in the great city of Austin, Texas. Here's the link to the City of Austin Grease Trap Maintenance Guide, which tells you how to maintain them if you really want to get into it, which if you're at a restaurant, you're going to have to. Pest control. Pest, an animal or insect that damages or contaminates food, causes health and economic problems. Pest infestations must be prevented because they spread foodborne disease, damage property, and contaminate food supplies. The pests which are of greatest concern in food establishment are flies, cockroaches, rodents, pantry pests, and birds. Flies. Flies carry pathogens such as Escherichia coli, Salmonella, and Shigella. Wonderful. They pick up the bacteria from garbage, spoiled food, and animal remains and feces, which stick to the legs, body, legs, and hairs. Some of the bacteria transfer when they land on the food. It goes from the crap right into the food. Horseflies vomit stomach fluid, I think I told you this earlier, containing pathogens onto its food, which hopefully dissolve it, and then it sucks all that stuff up. Blowflies have a shiny blue-green color, those big, what I call horseflies, and are larger than the horsefly. They are attracted to the smell of food and garbage, and usually found feeding on feces of animal carcasses. Those would be the green-bodied flies on animal crap or other crap laying around. Fruit flies are much smaller than the house flies and have a yellow-brown color. They are attracted to rotting fruits and vegetables. So different flies have their different lifestyles. And some things that really help reduce this are eliminate food sources. Don't give them anything to eat and they won't be there. Discard all rotten foods. Restrict entry to the food establishment by installing and maintaining self-closing doors, screened windows, doors properly designed, and install air curtains when you are so lucky as to need to leave your door open because you're so busy. Electrocuting type traps or adherence type traps for flies must be designed to have escape-resistant trays for flying insects so that the dead fly parts don't fly out of there. The device should never be located over exposed food. Clean equipment, utensils, linens, unwrapped single-service articles, of course. Keep lids on garbage containers, close dumpster doors, and lids provided installed drain plugs. Keep area around garbage dumpster clean. I know that's a fun job, but it'll pay off. Cockroaches transmit foodborne pathogens such as Salmonella, Vibrio cholera, and Staphylococcus aureus found in their gut and outer body. Cockroaches live in areas where food and water are provided and are very active at night. They're the nightlife kind of people. The German cockroach is the most common. I don't know if they speak German or not to each other, but they're the most common found in food establishments. Other cockroach types are the American, Oriental, and brown-banded. German cockroach is found almost everywhere, like warm, moist, dark hiding places. Hides in spaces in walls, ceilings, and food equipment. Cargo boxes provide harborages and means for transporting them from one place to another. Acquires water from sinks, counters, floors, pipes, refrigerator, and drain pans, and gaskets. German cockroaches eat most everything. Reproduce rapidly. Each egg case contains 30 to 40 eggs. Infantation is evident when cockroaches are seen at night. Signs include capsule-shaped egg casings. Dropping looks like black pepper grains. Cockroaches are like dogs in the sense that they will follow, if they're going somewhere, they will follow their own scent if they've gone there before, which includes where they pee and crap. And their thinking being that, well, if I went this way before and it was safe, must be safe to go that way this time. Cockroaches do the same thing. So their normal paths of where they go will contain these eggs and droppings, and you can follow it back and find out where find out what luxury hotel they're staying in. Cholera is an infectious disease that causes severely watery diarrhea, which leads to severe dehydration and death if untreated. It usually caused by eating food or drinking water contaminated with a bacterium called Vibrio cholera. Remember when we were talking about bacteria, I said that scientists define it by three things. One is the shape, one oxygen affinity, one gram-positive or negative. As far as the shapes, there's Vibrio, which is straight, Spirilla, which are little spirals, and this particular bacteria happens to be Vibrio, which look like fat little commas under a microscope. The cholera bacterium is usually found in water or food sources that have been contaminated by feces, poop, just for some of us, from a person infected with cholera. Cholera is most likely to be found and spread in places with inadequate water treatment, poor sanitation, and inadequate hygiene. Developing countries have severe problems with this. I think Bangladesh is having a heck of a cholera epidemic going on right now. Yep. Prevention control measures. Cover foods in tight containers. Do not leave foods out overnight. That's when the cockroaches crawl. Clean surfaces and equipment thoroughly and regularly. No dirty dishes left out overnight. I know, wash them before you go to bed. Maybe no fun, but better than washing it in the morning. Eliminate standing water. Repair leaks. Seal openings around pipes. And repair holes. Discard cardboard boxes as soon as possible. Empty and clean indoor garbage containers. If you don't give them a place to eat, anything to eat, or very little water, they won't be there. Eliminate harborages. Inspect facility and equipment. Seal off cracks in devices. Rodents cause extensive damage to the food supply, property, and building. They gnaw through containers of food, walls, floors, wiring. Basically anything other than steel, they can get through it. To keep their teeth short and sharp. Rodents carry mites and fleas and spread diseases like salmonella, trichinosis, swine dysentery, and hantavirus, and I don't know what that is. Rodents urinate and leave droppings on food. Oh boy. Food packages, equipment in and around buildings. Fresh droppings are shiny, black, and rubber-like. Oh, there's a rodent turd. Rodents are excellent swimmers, night animals. Have poor eyesight and prefer narrow, concealed routes when traveling. Most common rodents found in food establishments, in the United States anyway, are the house mouse, roof rat, and Norway rat. I guess they originated in Norway, kind of made their way around the world in ships. House mice are the smallest of the three rodents and found inside buildings, especially during the winter, seeking warmth, shelter, and food. Mice roam areas 10 to 30 feet away from their nest. They won't go far. Makes nests in wall, boxes, cabinets, and equipment. Mice breed quickly, feeding primarily on grains and cereal. Can crawl through openings about a quarter-inch in diameter. If they can get their head through it, they're gone, just like a cat. Roof rats' habitat and travel above the ground, prefer trees, attics, and roof spaces, thus roof rat. Their exceptional balance allows the roof rat to run on pipes, utility lines, and their claws aid in climbing objects they can hold on to. They have a black-gray fur, slimmer than the Norway rat, and have a longer tail. Those are the big, long, what we commonly referred to as rat. The roof rat maintains the nesting areas in a range of 100 to 500 feet. They'll go a lot farther than a house mouse. From the food source, prefers vegetables, fruits, nuts, and can enter holes about a half-inch in diameter. Grains and cereals is what house mice eat. Roof rats have a better diet, looks like vegetable, fruits, and nuts. Healthy little rat. Norway rats are the largest of the three types and burrow under buildings. I guess Willard in the movie Willard was a Norway rat. Concrete slabs, garbage piles for food, water, and shelter are nesting are present. They maintain an area between 50 and 150 feet from their nest. It's where the term rat's nest came from, I guess. It's when your area is really messy. The Norway rat is heavy-set, reddish brown fur, black nose. Tail shorter than the roof rat. They eat all types of food, preferring meat, fish, fruit, and cereal grains. Boy, they're really healthy. Can enter through openings a half-inch in diameter. Preventive control measures. Well, deny access to the food establishment. Don't give them any way to get in. Keep kitchen clean and sanitary. Eliminate food and water sources. Cover floor drains with screens so they can't crawl in and out of the plumbing. Check deliveries for rodent gnawing. See if they look like they've been around rodents, and if they have, need to be thoroughly inspected. Eliminate harborages inside and outside of the food establishment. Store foods properly, above the floor and away from walls. Seal all cracks and openings. Require control measures for pests and rodents. Routinely inspecting incoming shipments of food and supplies. Routinely inspecting the premise for evidence of the pests, the little droppings. Using appropriate methods of pest control, such as trapping devices or other means of pest control, in accordance to the ordinance requirements for poison or toxic material. And if they're found, eliminate them. You can't set a mouse trap and forget about it. If it traps a mouse, then you got a bigger problem. It'll die and decay and smell the whole house up. So you have to write on your calendar something, check mouse traps. So, remind you to go do it occasionally. Stored grain, insects, pantry pests. Weevils, moths, and beetles are stored in grain pests and create food waste in addition to being a nuisance. Signs of infestation include food spillage, webbing, pinholes, and insects in packages. We all know what flour with boll weevils in it looks like. Their eggs are found in almost all grain products and flour products. Did you hear that? Their eggs are found in almost all grain products and flour products. These eggs will eventually hatch with enough heat and time. A clean environment inhibits growth and reduces egg laying. Control spills and destroy all infected products. Examine incoming products for live insects and reject pest-infected deliveries. Rotate stock, FIFO, first in, first out. Use the oldest first. Keep foods at a cool, dry temperature, below 60 or 50 degrees. The cool air will keep the eggs from hatching. Eliminate foods that are damp and moldy. Some pests like the mold rather than the food itself. How about a little rat head with your peanut butter? A fly head with your macaroni and cheese? Though it may sound disgusting, these things and other gross filth, the Food and Drug Administration calls natural contaminants, are indeed allowed and present in your food, believe it or not. Excuse me. In fact, so common are these contaminants that the FDA has published a book detailing so-called food defect action levels, which were needed, according to the FDA, because it is economically impractical to grow, harvest, or process raw products that are totally free of non-hazardous, naturally occurring, unavoidable defects. Once again, non-hazardous, naturally occurring, unavoidable defects. Think insect parts in rodent hairs are more of a rarity? Think again. An Ohio University fact sheet estimates that we eat from 1 to 2 pounds of insects each year and without knowing it. They're actually pretty healthy, said Dr. Philip Nixon, an entomologist at University of Illinois, in regards to insects. If we were more willing to accept certain defect levels, such as insect and insect parts, growers could reduce pesticide uses. Some of the spraying that goes in is directly related to aesthetics of our food. The insects are more dangerous insecticide is usually more dangerous than insect parts. I will take more insect parts and less pesticides any day on my food. Any day. And we have a cute little picture for you. Gross but true. A certain number of rodent hairs are allowed in food. Well, a whole mouse shouldn't really be there. Yeah. FDA agrees that it's reasonable to accept more natural defects in our food in lieu of increasing the pesticides. Pesticides are definitely bad for you. Insect parts are probably not. The alternative, okay, this is a quote from them, the alternative to establishing natural defect levels in some foods would be to insist on increased utilization of chemical substances to control insects, rodents, and other natural contaminants. Anything natural is okay, basically, that's in my book. The alternative is not satisfactory because of the very real danger of exposing consumers to potential hazards from residue of these chemicals, as opposed to aesthetically unpleasant but harmless, natural, and unavoidable defects. Here are some examples of FDA statistics. Macaroni and noodle products, insect filth, average of 225 insect fragments or more per 225 grams in 6 or more subsamples. Rodent filth, average of 4.5 rodent hairs or more per 220 grams, 5 grams in 6 or more subsamples. Wheat flour, insect filth, average of 75 or more insect fragments per 50 grams. This is their tolerance ranges. There's like 80 per 50 grams, then you got to do something about it. Rodent filth, average of 1 or more rodent hairs per 50 grams. Dead or trapped birds, insects, rodents, and other pests should be moved from control devices and premises at a frequency that prevents the accumulation or attraction of pests and minimize exposure to decomposing remains. I would put on my calendar 1 day a week, go around and check all these trapped and get rid of the ones that got trapped. Well, guess what? You survived lesson 4 of the Texas Food Safety Manager's Principles course. Thank you for watching and attending. If you have any questions on this, give us a call and check out the PDFs below. And as always, have a wonderful day, people. This is Lisa Jean Cox. See you in the next movie.